still trading on a free app? Damn, that's cute. Yeah. Out here flexing on some paper gains like that's loot. You ain't got it. I pull 6 figs before I'm even out of bed. What you got? Your bag holding options that are damn near dead. You see me rolling in the Benz, you wonder how. Why you selling your soul for a couple hundred now? I'm stacking chips, flipping options like it's a game. Too easy. You're out here chasing dreams, man, you're lame. I see you panic selling, stressing, praying for a bounce. Desperate. Meanwhile, I just shorted and I'm stacking big amounts. You're refreshing your screen, wiping sweat off your face. I just bought another watch just to fuck with my pace. You're broke, I'm up, we ain't the same. Yeah, you know it. You trade for survival, I trade for the game. What's that? You flexing 100, that's minimum wage. Shit, for real. I just made your whole salary, now back to my trades. Get that money, stack it high, don't play. Yeah, run it. I make more in a minute than you make in a day. Flipping stocks while you're stuck in your grind. Out here, I'm out here balling, you just falling behind. Watch me rise, you just sit and complain. Watch me, I'm in the fast lane, you're stuck in the rain. I'm cashing in moves while you're out here just waiting. Still waiting, get your money right, or keep on just hating. Oh, you bought some calls, man, that's cute, you're still a rookie. Yeah, you know I'm out here making 6 figs while you acting all looky. You chasing that pump, thinking you're on top. You ain't fooling no way. But I'm shorting your whole portfolio, watch it drop. You tryna flip pennies, but your game is weak. Weak as hell. I make moves that make your whole account look bleak. So sad. You out here acting like you know the game, looking lost. But you're buying at the top, looking lame. Keep watching, I'm breaking records, stacking fast. You're stuck holding bags while I'm living life fast. You buy at the peak, now you crying for a dip. Meanwhile I'm stacking bags while I sip on my 5th. You thought you had a strategy, thought you had a plan. But you just a kid, I'm the grown man. I'm blowing up the market, you're just another clown. While you fighting for crumbs, I'm breaking it down. You're broke, I'm up, we ain't the same. Yeah. You trade for survival, I trade for the game. What's up? You flexing 100, that's minimum wage. For bro, I just made your whole salary, now back to my trades. Get that money, stack it high, don't play. Yeah, run it. I make more in a minute than you make in a day. Flipping stocks while you're stuck in your grind. Out here, I'm out here balling, you just falling behind. Watch me rise, you just sit and complain. Watch me, I'm in the fast lane, you're stuck in the rain. I'm cashing in moves while you're out here just waiting. Still waiting, get your money right, or keep on just hating.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And it sounds like I don't even need to use a voice changer today because apparently not only did Jesus of Nazareth die and then 3 days later become resurrected, apparently in that whole debacle, he took my voice. And apparently, I don't know, maybe I finally hit puberty at the age of 30, almost 31. I don't know what's going on. I lost my voice. I blame it on my mom's, like, the dry house. It's like, I don't know if it's pollen. I don't know what it is, but I lost my voice. So, I wish I had on a voice changer right now. I really, really do. I wish this was somehow me screwing with you, but it's not. And on top of that, it's extraordinarily painful. My throat is so incredibly dry. I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is. I'm not screwing with you. It just happens to be the current state of life that I am in. So I think I do deserve a little bit of a round of applause for finally hitting puberty. And I'm not seeing many people like applauding me or throwing me a quinceañera or anything like that, or even offering to do so, which, yeah, maybe it's a little bit rude, but maybe you guys just forgot how to behave on stream because we've had a little bit of a longer break than a normal weekend. So, well, Mike gets a pass here. Beautiful haircut. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was obviously a big weekend for me. Not only did our Lord and Savior come back from a fight with a zombie bunny or something like that, I hit puberty and I got my haircut. So it is what it is. It's where we're at. So I appreciate all that support through these trying times. Folks, I'm happy you're here. I'm happy I'm here. I hope you guys had a great extended weekend. You used that extra day off to get a little R&R, a little rest and relaxation. I hope you found all the eggs you were looking for. I hope you guys made a ton of money on Thursday before going into the weekend. I hope you had all safe travels. I hope you I hope your life is filling out your largest desires. I really, really do. So I hope you guys had a good one, a little rest. I know myself, it was a great break. I really did enjoy that extra time off. I have a little baby nephew, so I got to hang out with him. He's not really that talkative, but that's cool because I'm overly talkative, so it kind of works out for the two of us. But anyway, yeah, I really hope you guys got to hang out with your friends and family. And if you don't like your friends and family, I hope you got some solo time by yourself. Just a little bit of time in the sun. I don't know where you live, but finally where I am, the sun is shining through. You can feel the vitamin D getting into your system. You can feel the seasonal depression leaving your body. So I hope you guys got to enjoy that. And I hope you guys are ready for another full, ideally exciting week in the market. The volatility lately has been absolutely insane. For me, it really, I would articulate the sell-off into the Rose Garden meeting. I'm basically talking the end of February all the way up to really like the start of April. It's kind of being an easy setup. But ever post the Rose Garden meeting, things have just been haywire. And I crushed it. January, not so much. February, March, absolutely crushed it. And then from like early-ish April to now, your boy has not been on a good one. So hopefully we can end the month on a bit of a positive note here. And if you haven't seen pre-market yet, we're already getting some exciting moves. So I'm going to be breaking this down. But if you're joining in right now and you're like, listen, Mr. Puberty Boy, just tell me what's going on. Here's the TLDR. The current setup from the price momentum, price structure, and from options. Once again, price momentum, price structure, and price options. Looking at those three, there is no reason on God's green earth for you to be doing a short-term bullish trade unless the S&P 500 recaptures 5,400, which is quite a few points above where we are right now. Once again, looking at the technical setup, looking at the price momentum, the price structure, and the options flow, you don't really have, unless there's barring any crazy news, which I think is an important caveat here because you never know when you're going to get crazy news, but barring some insane, just jaw-dropping report that no one anticipated coming out of left field, excluding that scenario, you do not have any business being bullish with respect to the overall market. Yes, you might be able to find individual equities such as Netflix had earnings after the market closed on Thursday. Very good. Yeah, you could be bullish on gold. Keep riding that trend. New all-time high. Their Bitcoin is actually now a big change of trend, finally actually holding up a lot stronger relative to the equities market. So literally from when I left you guys on Thursday till now, we're seeing a new correlation with Bitcoin. So I'm not saying that you can't find things to be bullish on. I'm saying don't be bullish on the overall market until something a little bit more constructive going on. Because right now, it's not like, it's a little neutral pulling this way or that way. No. Right now in this current setup, it is legitimately bearish. You have to search very, very far, very, very wide, and you even have to squint your eyes to even potentially find a little bit of a bullish setup in the overall market in the short term. Obviously, if you're a long-term investor and you're like, dude, wait, are you talking about years from now? No. I'm talking about today, this week, maybe the remainder of the month. That's the time frame I'm talking about. The further this goes, if we get back to the actual bearish territory, I truly do believe in the long term, this represents a buying, investing opportunity. But remember, trading and investing, they're commonly conflated to be the same thing because you're buying and selling and they're both being executed on the market, but really they don't have much similarities. I see a lot of times people try to conflate the two, thinking that they're kind of cousins or something like that, when in reality, they just look similar. They sound similar, but there's no relation whatsoever. So please, when I'm saying something, if there's a bit of confusion, maybe the difference there is in the time frame. The further this goes down, I do truly believe in the long term, this represents a better buying opportunity. But in terms of the short term, today, this week, the remainder of the month, as of right now, I am not seeing any reason whatsoever to be slapping on a bullish position, once again, with respect to the overall market. So that's the TLDR there of time frames and what you're paying attention to. And of course, yes, the market is going down, but we are seeing, the dollar is getting crushed. Yields are doing something funny. Bitcoin's finally showing some strength. Gold's definitely showing some strength. So there's a lot of interesting things to get into from what markets are moving, why are they moving, which obviously means we kind of need to take a peek at what's going on in the news, because we definitely do have some interesting developments. But honestly, I feel like I've been saying that ever since this whole trade war, tariff war, whatever you want to call it, starting. I feel like every single day there's just like a whole swath of things that we have to break down and pay attention to, because we are literally living in history. And I guess theoretically, because of the linear nature of time, we're always living in history, but we're living in a point of history that's actually going to be documented and written about. And it's going to be a lot more than people updating their Twitter profile saying they had a good burrito today. It's going to have a lot more to say. Wow, do you guys remember when we had the biggest gain followed by a historic sell-off and we were in that trade war? Like, what is happening in the economy, the stock market, the bond market, the crypto market? Like, this is a noteworthy time. So obviously, I hope you guys are surviving it. Knock on wood, if you're green and making more and more money, I hope you continue to crush it. But in this heightened sense of volatility and uncertainty, if your account is just kind of going sideways, a little up, a little down, that is winning right now, because this is an extraordinarily difficult environment. So I think sometimes, especially at the start of the week, it is helpful to kind of take a step back, and rather than just looking at like what's happening today, understanding the bigger picture. We don't want to lose the entire forest from looking at that big oak tree right in front of us. And right now, like when you take that step back before we really get into today, please understand, like, this is unprecedented. What we are seeing, what we are dealing with. So I don't want anyone to really be beating themselves up and be like, oh, like whatever, like some degenerate on social media YOLO'd 0 DTE options and made a shitload of money, as if that's normal, as if that's statistically lucky. No, it's not. People get lucky. People win lottery tickets. But just because someone else in the world is winning a lottery ticket does not mean that is the standard. So I think that's kind of a helpful framework when approaching this before we really get into not only today, but the entire week. So with all that being said, let me give you guys a little looky-see of what's going on. Dow futures dropped 300 points to start the week. Not so good. And as you might probably properly guess, this does relate to some trade war stuff. So right now in pre-market trading, you can see the SPY is currently gapping down 1.1%. The Qs are gapping down 1.5%. The VIX volatility is gapping up 8.5%. But as I alluded to a little bit, Bitcoin's holding nicely. Bitcoin's just below 87,000. Going into this weekend, we saw a direct relationship over the past couple weeks and months between the overall market and Bitcoin. They were both thought to be risk on assets. But for whatever reason, sometime between yesterday and today, we are seeing a different change of trend. So we're going to get a little bit more into that. Obviously, I'll give you my opinions. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. But yes, we are seeing Bitcoin, digital gold, starting to act like actual gold, which is also continuing to rip, and literally as of right now hitting a new all-time high. So to all the gold bugs in the audience, to all of you who have been trading and investing on your great-grandparents' Great Depression-esque idea of what a market is, of don't trust the market, don't trust banks, you go and get the real McCoy, like actual gold. Well, hey, it's working for you, because for the first time in history, we have gold futures crossing 3,400 per troy ounce. I don't know why Troy got to name it, but hey, I guess that just is what it is. But anyway, gold hitting a new all-time high. So real gold hitting an all-time high, digital gold, aka Bitcoin, looking and like showing some strength. Granted, not an all-time high, but it is breaking the downward trend that we are still currently enduring with the overall market. Vol is spiking. Bonds are doing their weird stuff. I mean, bonds are getting hit, which means obviously yields are going up. We could look at the US 10-year right here, not long ago, spiking up to 4.4. Chaos. Chaos is the best way to explain it. So I'm going to be doing my best to break this all down, giving you guys a better framework for the day trades, for the swing trades. But with that being mentioned, we do have some news that we should probably be covering. For those of you who might have missed it, Pope Francis, he passed away. He was well known for being the promoter of a compassionate church. He passed away at the age of 88. It was recently announced by the Vatican. The pontiff was praised for focus on poverty and human suffering. Born in Argentina, he was the first pope from the Americas. I don't know how many of you recently watched I believe it was an Oscar-nominated film, Conclave, but that was all about the process of selecting a new pope, which is literally going to be getting underway. So if you're I'm not really a religious person. I'm definitely not a Catholic person, but even for a person on the outside who maybe doesn't seemingly see like something that would be in my interest, I thought the movie was really, really good. I thought it was well shot, high-end cinematography, and it was an opportunity for me to learn about this process, which is a really, really interesting process of how they go about picking the new pope. So obviously that will most likely be underway pretty soon. Also, in terms of international news, Kyiv is on the clock to respond to Trump plan to end the Ukraine conflict. U.S. proposal includes recognition of Russia's annexation of Crimea. I believe that happened back in 2014, and blocking Ukraine from joining NATO, which is something Russia wanted that forever now. Ukraine is under pressure to respond this week to a series of far-reaching Trump administration ideas of how to end the war in Ukraine by granting concessions to Russia, including potential U.S. recognition of Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea and excluding Kyiv from joining NATO. This whole excluding Kyiv, really Ukraine as a whole, from NATO, it's not new news. That's exactly what Russia's been saying forever. And there's a pretty fair argument that NATO / the U.S. has continually kind of been the thorn in the side of Russia, saying we might do it. And Russia's like, we thought we came to an agreement that they weren't going to be there, obviously because they're just like physical neighbors and they don't really want a physical neighbor as NATO. So this might lead to some volatility. It might lead to some bullish volatility if everyone accepts. It might lead to some bearish volatility if the negotiations blow up at the tables. The U.S. is now waiting for Kyiv's response, which is expected to come at a meeting of U.S., Ukrainian, and European officials in London later this week. Then, if there is a convergence among American, European, and Ukrainian positions, the proposals will be floated to Moscow. So we're not at the point of all sides agreeing. We're at the side of can we even get America, Europe, and Ukraine to agree? And if they do, then it'll get sent to Russia. So we're a little bit far out, and I think it's more of that secondary chapter that would be exciting for the market, the economy, global tensions. It would be positive news, obviously, if we can get an agreement in general on our side. So I just want to call it out because I even saw it on Twitter this morning. Excuse me, my throat is so fucked. I saw it floating around on Twitter this morning that people thought that this alone could be the thing setting the market sky high. No. The expectation this week is just, can our sides agree? Once again, America, Europe, and Ukraine. We're not even at the point of like Russia agreeing on it. And then obviously I don't want to gloss over just chapter 1 here. There's no saying that that's even going to get to a point that the world wants. So I just want to put that out there just because obviously this could be an important narrative to pay attention to in the coming weeks. Now back to the narrative we all know about. What in the world is going on with Trump? What's going on with the administration? Going into the long weekend, we kind of got some weird updates related to Trump and his displeasure with the actions taken by Powell. Trump's push against Powell is the latest reason to sell U.S. assets. So right before we got into the holiday weekend, we got this update from Trump on his own True Social account. The ECB, the European Central Bank, is expected to cut interest rates for the 7th time, and yet, quote unquote, too late. Jerome Powell at the Fed, who is always too late and wrong, yesterday issued a report which was another and typical complete mess. So that was going into the weekend. And then on Friday, even though the markets were closed, we got an additional update on the matter. Trump renews call of interest rate cut, says rates would be lower. Fed Chief Powell understood what he was doing. And this is from Trump himself. If we had a Fed chairman that understood what he was doing, interest rates would be coming down too. I should clarify this. There is no voting FOMC member who thinks we should have cut rates yet. None of them. So yes, obviously, heavy lies the crown. He is the chairman of the Fed, so everyone's talking about him, using his picture and kind of understanding where he's at. But remember those summary of economic projections, those SEP ones that we get every other FOMC meeting? As of right now, as of Monday, April 21st, there is not a single voting FOMC member. I believe there's 19 of them. Not a single one has said we should cut interest rates. So I get that this battle between the administration and the central bank, it kind of seems like it's a Trump versus Powell thing, but really it's an administration versus the entire Fed. There's not like a dissenting voice, once again, as of now, that, we should have cut it. We should have cut it. No, all of them based on the data that they interpret and how they are, I guess, taught and tasked with, remember, price stability and inflation low, none of them have gone out and said, hey, there's been no interviews. We see the voting on the dot plot. Not a single member's like, oh, we should be bringing it down. So I just wanted to share that. It's not like Powell is the one holding it up right now. For Trump to get what he wants, you'd almost have to replace all of them. And maybe if you replace some, the other ones get scared and they vote. But I'm just saying right now, they pretty much have a unified voice of like, no, it's just not necessarily appropriate. Now, I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just saying that is the current group. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't agree. I would actually argue it very much depends on how you're looking at it and how you're taught and how you view the economy, how you view the purpose of the Fed. I'm not saying one side is right or wrong here. I'm just trying to give a little bit of background information of it's not like Powell is the one just kind of stopping it, because really, if any of the other voting members were currently the chairman of the Fed, we'd be in the effectively the same position. That brings us to this morning. China vows retaliation against countries that follow U.S. calls to isolate Beijing. That is why the market's taken a little bit of a hit today. China has warned it will retaliate against countries that cooperate with the U.S. in ways that could compromise Beijing's interests. So this is with respect to what we got from the Treasury Secretary once again at the conclusion of last week. U.S. plans to use tariff negotiations to isolate China. So this isn't a random boogeyman that China's coming up with of like, we think they're doing this. No, the U.S. has been like pretty in the face of everyone saying, yeah, no, that's 100% our plan. Basically, I think the metaphor I used was mommy and daddy are divorcing and they're making the kids pick who they like better. And the U.S. was saying, yeah, we're going to do it. And then China's like, well, that's like kind of fucked up. If you do it, we're going to do it type of a deal. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent wants trading partners to limit China's involvement in their economies in exchange for concessions on reciprocal tariffs. I'm bringing that up because, once again, China is not just making this up. The U.S. is like saying it directly to their face, like that's the plan. China firmly opposes any party reaching a deal at the expense of China's interests. If this happens, China will not accept it and will resolutely take reciprocal countermeasures. So it is this tit for tat tension explosion that is directly relating to the market taking a bit of a hit from where we were on Thursday to where we are right now. And even though what the stories I'm covering are obviously related to a larger government nation level, we're seeing it with companies as well. NVIDIA says it will record a $5.5 billion charge tied to the H20 processors exported to China. The TLDR here is we know that the Biden administration already curbed some sales from NVIDIA to China, and now the current administration, Trump's administration, is doing it like 10x more. Honestly, the actual multiple might be even more, but NVIDIA is saying in the short term, this is literally going to be a $5.5 million problem in the short term that they're just going to eat. But as we're seeing it on the U.S. government putting pressure on other governments to not deal with China so they bend the knee, they're also doing it with U.S. companies. And obviously, there's the example of NVIDIA. Breakdown in U.S.-China relations raises specter of new Cold War. What is at stake as economic ties careen off the rails over overall global security and economic stability for years to come? Yeah, this could get really bad. Also, what is statistically true, or what is factually true, is they could come to the negotiation table. They could come to an agreement. They're like, cool, new trade agreement, and the world, it just pops, and we rip and we rip and we rip. Right now, anyone who is definitively telling you that from here we have this explosion to the upside or a complete, like, just chaotic, just pummel, the markets just get absolutely brutalized to the downside, both are statistically true. Right now, we are unfortunately not in the game of reading technicals, reading the option chain, interpreting fundamentals. We're in the game of news. If you ask me, this is the most painful time to trade because whatever you are taught, your technicals, throw them out the window. Options flow, throw it out the window. Option structure, technical structure, fundamentals of a company, economic growth, economic slowdowns, all that. Just ball it all up and yeet it off the closest cliff because what is driving the market right now is exclusively headlines, which makes it very, very, very difficult to trade because anything that we're basing it off of It doesn't seemingly matter. We could be having a strong trend day, it doesn't matter. It could be a massive bull day, a massive bear day, and on a dime, it could just be switched by a random update. And then what's even crazier about this environment is it doesn't take much research to realize those big developments that cause the market to go haywire one way or the other. Then before you know it, the White House could be like, nope, that's not true. That's actually fake reporting. And then what's called fake reporting might end up becoming true a couple days later. So like right now, as much as I am personally a big fan of knowing the statistics of the situation, diving into seasonality, looking at the big options change, paying attention to theta decay and where are these gamma nodes at and that type of a thing, and looking at structural support, structural resistance, looking at the larger thematic developments of are EVs becoming more popular, less popular, just as an example. All that stuff right now, which is generally what you're going to want to do in most market situations, seemingly doesn't matter. It just does not matter right now. I think the best way you could summarize this is most realistic people will sit on their hands and realize that you have no real advantage. So don't do it. If you don't have an advantage at the blackjack table, don't sit down and play blackjack. That makes sense. But obviously, if you're here watching this show, there's a good chance that you're a degenerate. And you're like, okay. I get it. It's difficult. But yeah, no, brother, like, what are we actually doing? Like one of those things. And I get it. I'm there with you. I think a part of me can be reasonable and be honest and transparent and say, yeah, probably none of us should be active trading. Yeah, you get that warning. It's kind of like when you're pregnant and you're reading all the warnings on cigarettes and alcohol, and you're like, okay, buddy, I get the warning. But before you know it, there you are at Texas Roadhouse ripping your 8th margarita on your 2nd pack of cigs because you live a little. So it's like one of those situations where I think a reasonable human being would know what to do. But fortunately for us here in the Goonie community, no one really ever argued that we were reasonable. I think if anything, it's more comedic, the fact that we could understand the reasonable stance and then just kind of do what we want to do anyway. So with that in mind, what can we do that is somewhat intelligent for us, somewhat supportive for what we should actually be doing? And the argument there would be, okay, if in any given situation you have a 50-50 shot, because maybe sometimes the odds are better or worse, but in this situation, it's a 50-50 shot. The next 1 minute bar, 5 minute, 10 minute, 15, daily, weekly, you don't know. 50% shot it goes in your favor, 50% shot it doesn't go in your favor. So if we're in this world of continually flipping a quarter to find out if you make money or lose money, well, at that point, all you can reasonably do from the math side of things is ensure that you have more reward than risk. That's what you have to do. If you are playing a 50-50 game, the only thing you can do to be net profitable is be in control of your risk to reward ratio. Obviously, you have to be going for much more reward than you are for risk. The other thing you could do is because of variance, because you can still go on a pretty extreme losing streak when you're flipping quarters, then you have to be humble enough to also use proper sizing. So I would say we are in the current state of your base assumption should be you have a 50-50 shot of being right or wrong. To survive those scenarios, you have to be humble enough to bet small enough, and then you have to be smart enough to not let your losers run and take your winners too early. You have to ensure that your rewards are outpacing your risk when you're actually going to be winning in that trade. So just wanted to break that all down. But obviously in this tariff war, trade war right now, the big tensions are between the U.S. and China. But don't forget that there's 182-ish other countries, and we might be getting some updates from those pretty soon. Vance arrives in India to hold talks with the prime minister under U.S. tariffs shadow. The U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance began a 4-day visit to India on Monday to hold talks with the PM as New Delhi rushes to avoid steep U.S. tariffs with an early trade deal and boost ties with the Trump administration. So yes, a lot of the news is directly dominated by what in the world is going on with U.S. and China. But don't forget, there's other very important global powers involved with this, such as the EU, India, various countries in South America. There's other trading partners we have, and we're talking billions, if not trillions of dollars, depending on your time frame. But yes, the China narrative is going to rule the roost because it's what people click on. So the media is going to be continually pushing it because at the end of the day, all these media companies, whether mainstream media, social media, it's what gets clicks. So they're not going to be incentivized to do something that, even though it might be important, such as our meeting with India, Israel, Argentina, Canada, Mexico. Yes, all massively important. But at the end of the day, remember, our news is going to be filtered through the lens of that company saying what's going to go out and what's going to get us clicks. So with that, even here on this show, I'm covering China because it's a big deal and it's seemingly moving the markets. But I would be remiss to not point out the fact that there's literally almost 200 other countries right now. And I would say 10 to 20 of which are super, super important. So right here, JD Vance meeting with the PM of India, going to be an important one. That could be positive, could be negative, just a piece of news you gotta pay attention to. In all of this mess, I find this interesting. If you guys saw the update video yesterday, you already know what I'm going to say, but it feels like we're currently being gaslit. Trump's approval rating on this economy drops to the lowest of his presidential career. Once again, Trump's approval rating on the economy, not the whole thing, just the economy, drops to the lowest of his entire presidential career. That came out. And do you know what came out right after that? From the president himself, Trump's best poll numbers ever. Thank you. So technically these aren't mutually exclusive because obviously when you vote on the economy, that's like one sub portion of the entire thing. So technically these could both be true. They are not a mutually exclusive statement, but it really doesn't stop you from feeling like you are being a little bit gaslit. So I don't know, kind of crazy. With respect to macroeconomic events, we don't really have much going on today. Technically at 10 a.m. we get U.S. leading indicators. We are in earnings season. I'm going to come back to this, but I would like to note that Netflix absolutely crushed. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter, macworsoutLocals.com. My mod will drop it in chat. It's 100% free. It's always been free, always will be free. And a little bit later, we're going to come back to the fact that gold is hitting an all-time high as the dollar is completely plummeting. Lots to chit chat about. And on that particular note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, we're getting a little bit of a pop out of the gate. Makes complete sense because people are locking in their put profits. So obviously, if you are long puts and then you close them out, you are adding, well, it's the net, you're removing negative delta, which mathematically is the same as adding positive delta. So you're seeing a bit of a pop. But if I had to guess, this is people literally just locking in some of their profits. The goal in question, is it going to hold or is it not? Right now, Tesla taking a pretty steep hit out of the gate. And then we also have Meta taking a hit. We have Nvidia taking a hit. Jesus. I'm seeing more red. Not everything's red. Bitcoin's holding up, so MicroStrategy is holding up. Netflix is green from their earnings, and coin is going to be green because of Bitcoin. So Netflix standalone, this is really a particular ticker that's been able to kind of sidestep the craziness of this trade war, Netflix. And then other than that, the other green that I'm seeing is crypto related. And then when you remove all that, it seems like everything else is pretty much in the red. Right now, the 5-minute is actually in the bullish territory. The 10-minute on the S&P 500 is testing. The 30-minute and the 4-hour are both bearish. Looking at the NASDAQ, the 5-minute is testing. The 10-minute is still bearish. The 30-minute's bearish. And the 4-hour is bearish. Looking at the daily, we are still within that bar from Wednesday, April the 9th. Wednesday, April the 9th is an important day because that's the day that we got the announcement that Trump would be raising Chinese tariffs up to 145, while everyone else is going to go down to 10% for the coming 90 days. We are still within that day. We have not broken the high. We have not broken the low. And right now, and we're kind of in no man's land. I would argue that the bulls are gaining control if we get above and close above 5,400. I would say actually where we are right now is legitimately bearish, and there is some support around 5,100. Why do I say there's support there? Well, my big head's blocking it, so let me move up here. You can see there's quite the positive gamma node right here. So right now there's low stability in the market. That is not bearish or bullish. It just means when we get moving, we can really get moving. Quite a bit of negative gamma. Once again, not bullish or bearish. It just means when you get moving, you can really get moving. I see a little bit of a positive node at 5,400. I see a little bit of a positive node at 5,200, but the major positive node is down here. So, and that's, it kind of starts just below 5,100. So you could interpret that by saying, if in the event we have a large sell-off, this would be my major target of the day. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. Obviously, here's a look at the flow thus far this morning. Not so good. The S&P 500 pretty much just straight down. Looking at the Mag 7, flat, starting to pop here, but we only have 2 minutes worth of data, so let's just come back to that in a second. But anyway, here's a look at the overall picture. Once again, the thing that I find fascinating is we're still in that range of Wednesday. Eventually, when one of these sides break, either 5-4-8-1 or 4-9-4-8, eventually, when one of these sides break, I think it's going to set up for a very interesting play. But obviously, it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days, and we're still not there yet. Bringing us to today specifically, coming down, a lot of my recent commentary has been on the full option chain, coming down to the 0 DTE. This is the transition zone between 5,300 and 5,250. Above that, on a 0 DTE perspective, the bulls would be in control above 5,300. Below it, the bears are obviously going to be in control. And in between it, that's when you have a gamma and a delta switch with respect to the 0 DTE. So once again, bullish up here, bearish down here, transition zone in here. I should note, stepping back from the 0 DT, looking at the full chain, the transition zone is actually larger, and it's all the way up to 5,400, which is why I'm still saying I personally, once again, I'm not your mom. Do whatever you want. It's your money. I care. I want you to be successful, but I know I can't stop you from doing stupid things. I personally would not be considering taking a bullish position unless the market gets above 5,400. Maybe you have to bar some crazy news and announcements and shit like that, obviously. But I'm telling you, 5,400, that's when the option structure maybe is a bit constructive. Below it, it's very painful. And then once again, coming back to the 0 DT, you have to get above 5,300. So I just want to be very clear about, hey, do what you want. And I know it's 50-50, but I'm still attempting to stack the odds in my favor. We are actually breaking down from the low that we saw on Wednesday here. That's not so good. This is looking already pretty painful out of the gate. How is this? I did do one trade thus far today, right here on take profit, but I don't know what's going on. I thought I went short a little bit ago, but I haven't traded my Apex. Actually, I want to make sure that I'm all set up here. So I had to do a scratch trade on my take profit accounts. I don't know why one didn't trade and then the other ones are where they are, but hey, we're going to see how this one plays out. But to clarify, obviously on my Apex accounts, I haven't done anything yet. So I just wanted to show you that I haven't really been doing anything too hardcore degenerate, but we're going to see how today ends up playing out. Where are we at? Okay, it's because I thought I'd be already in the green, but it's because the SPY's puking. The Qs are actually holding pretty decently right now. So that's interesting. Coming back to that. While we're waiting for the market to open, I do want to let you know we are in earnings season before the market opens tomorrow. Verizon, Lockheed Martin. Tomorrow, after the market closes, Tesla, SAP, Capital One. On Wednesday, we have Boeing, AT&T. We also even have IBM and Chipotle when the market closes that day. Vertu, if you care about that. Thursday, American, Southwest, Merck, Pepsi, Intel, Alphabet, also known as Google, and then on Friday, SLB, Phillips 66. So this is all in that newsletter that's free, macquars.locals.com, or you could go to @eWhispers on Twitter. You could screenshot this, but I just want to let you know, especially if you're trading these individual companies, probably something worthwhile to pay attention to, especially because man, Netflix just showing some serious strength from their pretty quality earnings. All right, well, we broke the low from Thursday. We broke the low from Wednesday. So broke that low. We broke the low from Friday the 11th. So we're basically just swept this. Obviously, the next level, at least from the daily chart perspective, would be 5,115. Obviously, I have a couple other levels. We have a key open interest level here at 5,200. Am I on the right side? Okay, yeah, good. I didn't know if I was still up in the corner above me, which would have seemed crazy. Anyway, 5,200. And then 5,150. We have this breakdown, 5,115. The one that I have in the blue right here. Sorry, I think I was blocking that. Oh, it locked in. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, I locked those in. These are not performance accounts. These are just eval. So I just had to do a whatever trade to get those in. So locked it in. So made about $1,000. But once again, these are not performance accounts. These are evals. So my performance accounts I have not traded yet. I'm just kind of trying to be patient, trying to wait for that opportunity, especially because in environments like this, if you could get on the right side of the trend, you can make a decent amount. But anyway, the daily chart clearly showing some weakness. The intraday chart, we are in the bearish side. As always, if you're new to the show, just very quickly, The green, the red, and the white are the previous trading session's high, low, and close. The yellow lines are the key open interest level lines from the options market. And then the white box is the transition zone. Above the transition zone, bullish, below it, bearish, and within it, kind of choppy. So obviously what we're seeing right now is we had a gap down because we opened up below the previous low and also below the previous close. Obviously, to be below the low, that means you have to be below the close. Anyway, we opened up below those. So there is an upside gap fill. And then obviously, as of right now, we just breached that low from Wednesday, and we're kind of in between two open interest levels. Obviously, we are at 5214, so we're a lot closer to this. If 5,200 does not hold, if we puke all the way to it and we dance around and we don't get that nice bounce that gives us a bounce up to the transition zone or something like that, I'd be looking for a pretty quick and evident sell off to 5,150. From there, then we have that low at 5,115, which is this low from Thursday the 10th. So those are kind of some of my key downside targets. Now, in the event that we bounce from here, get up into the transition zone, yes, there's an upside gap fill to 5256. You have the upside close gap fill to 5282. From there, if in a weird event the market can get above and capture 5,300, then I'd be watching Thursday's high and then the next key open interest level 5,350. That is the bull case. I want to be very clear right here. I am not interested in the bull case. Yes, it could happen, but if it does happen, I'm not playing it because I believe that price momentum, price structure, and options flow is all greatly favoring the bear case. So if that happens, and it might happen, I'm humble enough to admit that I'm just not going to be playing it because of the way everything else is aligning. I view this game of trading to be one of those games where you're just trying to stack everything in your favor. The more things pointing in one direction, I deeply believe, and really the math of it suggests that you have a better odds. So for me, even if we get up here, that's more of like just, okay, some things are like, then you're time frame dependent. Well, in the short term, it's looking like a little bullish, but by the time you look at the remainder of the week, it's bearish. It's just, to me, it's a weak play. So if you want to play it, hey, have at it. I'm not your mom. But for me, if anything, I'm going to be looking for some opportunity. And when I say opportunity, I mean a low risk way to express a bearish opinion on the day. Once again, I'm not clairvoyant. I don't have a crystal ball that tells me the future. I'm just I'm a blind squirrel like all of you guys, and we're just seeing if we can find that special acorn. But even this, the 5-minute pumped and that broke down, 10-minute pump, that broke down. Same thing on the NASDAQ. So like I said, do what you want. Do what you want. I'm just letting you guys know what I'm looking to do. Anyone liking XRP? I assume you're trying to just piss me off, but no, XRP is absolute fucking trash. It is absolute trash. I should say it's trash as an investment. If you're actively trading it, that's a completely story. Remember, trading and investing are two completely different things. XRP has good range to the upside, to the downside. So if you're just a trend following trader and you're like, no, when it's trending up, I'm bullish. When it's trending down, I'm bearish. Okay, like totally get that. If you think XRP is an investment, well, you need to get your fucking head examined because it is so obviously not an investment. What's going on with Palantir? I see some people saying Palantir. Oh, green. Palantir, another one similar to NVIDIA, holding up better than some of these other names for sure. Here's a quick look at the options flow. I'm doing my best to kind of distract myself from trading because I don't want to trade this early, but pretty much the S&P 500 sold off to 938. We're getting a little bit of a bounce in Delta, but not a convincing one. Same thing with the Mag 7. The Mag 7 actually had a bit of a bullish push up till 935, and then the options just started to get dumped. We're getting a little bit of a reversion right now, but nothing too crazy. On that note, it is perfect for me to call out today's stream partner, Public. This is the place to trade options. If you are an options trader or an aspiring options trader, you should be on Public. There is no other brokerage in the world that pays you a rebate to trade options. So no matter what, if you're buying a call, then selling a call, you get 2 rebates. If you are buying a put, selling a put, you get 2 rebates. If you're trading more of a complex option like an iron condor, well, you're getting rebates on in with all those contracts and then also on the position closure. There are no commission fees, there are no per contract fees, and you earn a rebate for every single options contract you trade. No other brokerage does that, which means if you are an options trader, this is the best place for you to be. If you are profitable, you'll be more profitable because of the rebate. If you are not profitable, well, the pain will be a little bit less because guess what? you still get the rebate. On top of that, yes, they have equity trading. There's no payment for order flow. They have crypto trading. They have bond trading with some of the best UI, UX. They have retirement accounts. They have high yield accounts. They have pretty much, it's a one-stop shop for what you need. Like I said, it's pinned to the top of chat. Make sure you use that link because you're going to start off at a higher rebate tier. Don't just download it. Make sure you are downloading it from that link because there's a tier system to how many rebates you earn or where you start off. And if you want to start off higher, make sure you are using that link. But there's no risk to you. It is free to download. There is no commission fees, no per contract fees. Truly, for you to test this out and see if it's for you, there is no harm, no foul. Use that link. Start off at the higher rebate. If you're an options trader, aspiring options trader, this is exactly why I'm with them because to me, it's a no-brainer. Why would I not want to be earning more money on top of the normal trading that I'm going to be doing anyway? And then from a moral perspective, no payment for order flow in equities trading. They were one of the first major brokerages to announce this. I just feel like this is a brokerage that truly has their clients back rather than some of these other ones where if you were around in 2021, you know that some of them did some pretty shady stuff. So the fact that Public has been kind of leading the charge and actually putting their clients first rather than the market makers, they'll have a special place in my heart. And then seeing the developments of what they've been doing legitimately from a platform perspective and from like a monetary perspective, to me, it's an absolute no-brainer. So shout out to Public. Thank you for partnering up with us. And if you guys haven't already, like I said, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And are we on this trip back down? Oh, man, I need a lozenge. What time is it? It is 9:44. It is 9:44, folks. Mag 7 is still getting hit. Still getting hit. We're coming up to potentially 5,200. What was your opinion using a money manager like JP Morgan or Fidelity? I wouldn't use them. Most of them don't even outperform the S&P 500. Save yourself money. A money manager like that, I'd say, hey, man, show me your track record over the past 10 years. And most of them do not beat the S&P 500. Like, why would you pay them anything when you could literally just go and buy the S&P 500 yourself? Stop coughing. You're going to get Pippa sick. Dude, I think she got me sick. She just kept me up the entire weekend. She was being real needy. She'd just like come up when I was dead asleep. Imagine having like a little 12-pound apartment Jaguar on your back. I was sleeping on my stomach. I was trying to avoid her. I was trying to protect myself. And she just comes up on your back, middle of the night, 2 or 3 in the morning. You're deep in your REM sleep. And they just aggressively lick your ear. Aggressively lick your ear. XRP is better than AMC. Yeah, they're all shit, though. What a stupid argument. Okay, so you take one steaming pile of shit and you're comparing it to the other. And you're like, it's good because it's slightly better than that. That's like saying breaking your arm and breaking your leg are both bad, but you're breaking your leg does more damage, so it's better to just break your arm. Yeah, they both suck dick, though, because you're both, in both cases, you're breaking a bone. XRP and AMC, the investor base in both of them are some of the most brain dead fucking people in this entire world. They really are. They're such incredible rubes, time and time getting taken advantage of. And the fact that they don't see it at a certain point, like, you want to help them, but when it's gone on for this long, at a certain point, it goes from wanting to help people to wanting to basically just say, well, you get what you get. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Someone has to clean you up. I don't even know what that means. Clean me up. Like, are you saying aesthetically, like shave me? Or are you saying like tune me up, like beat me up type of a thing? I have a lot of XRP. Well, that's painful for you, man. That sucks. I choose GME over AMC and or XRP. It might do better. I mean, it kind of depends on what Ryan Cohen decides to do. As a brick and mortar game store, that is stupid. That's a dumb business. But there are better odds than not that this company ends up becoming an investment vehicle similar to Berkshire Hathaway. When Warren Buffett first bought Berkshire Hathaway, it was a textile company, and then he turned it into an investment vehicle. If Ryan Cohen chooses to do that with GameStop, well, then the question isn't the business of GameStop, it's how good is Ryan Cohen at trading and investing. So that's a completely different story. So I would say GameStop is very much an unknown. It's kind of like an unknown, which I guess, to be fair, it does make it inherently better than XRP or AMC because those two are known trash. So the fact that GameStop might not be trash, I would say I have to agree with that statement that it's better because at least you have an opportunity for it to be better. While XRP, trash, AMC, trash, and the people who invest in them are just actually retarded. Does BTC follow the stock market at all? It feels sort of like it does, but it some days doesn't. Yeah, I mean, we do see cycles of things having correlation and then breaking correlation. And for quite a while, there was a high correlation between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ. But as of this weekend, we're actually seeing a potential change in that. So just because things are correlated doesn't mean that the correlation always perpetually has to hold. That's not like a hard and fast rule. So sometimes you see strong correlation, it weakens, and sometimes it can be inversely correlated. You see that with the dollar and the stock market, and to know which way it's going to be correlated, you kind of have to better understand monetary policy. Sometimes you see interesting correlations with gold. Sometimes you see interesting correlations with oil. Something just happened. What was that? The old 948 pop. What in the world was that? Someone just splashed the market with all the delta went up. The call delta went up and the put delta went up. So someone at 948.50 splashing the pot in the options market right here. You can see it in the SPY, and you could actually see it in the Mag 7 too. Whoa. What equity was it? Was it Nvidia? Nvidia got some calls there for sure, longer dated calls. Was it Apple? Apple got a big pop in calls. Microsoft? Not so much Microsoft. Amazon? A little bit of Amazon. It seems like it was it Tesla? Tesla got puts closed out. For some reason, right just there, right before 9:49, Apple and Nvidia both got a sizable amount of calls, but more so Apple. Look at that giant pop in Apple. Meta? Let's just check in. Meta as well, actually. Meta for this Friday. Remember, they're in the middle of an FTC case. That's interesting. Google, let's just kind of run through the whole gambit here to see what moved. Google a little bit. All right. Interesting. Yeah, we see a big pop right there at 948.50. Right before we were 20 minutes into the day, right before we're 19 minutes into the day, big pop. Let's see if it holds. I don't know if it will. I don't know if it won't. It does seem to be not specific to, but more so correlated with Nvidia and Apple. And actually, speaking of that, if this fails, though, that might be the trade that I am interested in. That might be the trade that I am interested in on the day. How is the flow looking? That might be the pop to fade. Half the people in AMC are your fault, LMAO. Listening to you call them retarded is crazy. That's just not true. I'll actually take it one step further and call you specifically retarded, because that's obviously not true. People who listen to me about AMC, they got out in profit. People who actually listen to me, the time and time again where I said, I don't know the profit target. When the trend breaks down, get out, take your money, move on. Never pitched as an investment. I was the first person calling it out when things were breaking down of, hey guys, look at what's going on with options. Look at the fact that Adam Aaron is diluting it. It was a good trade. I mean, it went from $5 to $70. It was a good trade. And people who listened, who didn't get married to the cult drinking the Kool-Aid, they made money, which obviously tells me that you have no fucking clue what you're talking about, because if you actually did listen, you would have made a shitload of money. But I get it. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. And to be completely honest, the world of trading is not for everyone. It is not my fault. Like, what a fucking, like, that's crazy. Most likely you're an adult. I would assume that you're not a child in here. So you imagine like truly thinking that, like, as an adult, be like, this guy who said the opposite things, he actually made me do the thing he told me not to do. Like, do you realize how just dumb that sounds? Like, how incredibly stupid and immature. Like, I don't know. We see this type of behavior in these actions and these people. Like, just grow the fuck up. Grow up. You're not a child. You are maybe you are a child. I'm assuming you're not a child. Anyway, I took that short trade. We're going to see how it goes. 70. Now, I'm afforded the opportunity to play this one a little bit differently because all these accounts started off with 53,000, which means I have a little bit buffer than normal to play with. So, I probably should use, I'm in at 70. All right. I should be a little bit smarter about my risk. So I'm moving my risk down right away. This is just, I don't know, this is a profit target, but doesn't really 100% matter. Let me do some quick math here. Let me do a little bit of quick math. 18,072, 9. Oops, did not want to mess with that. All right, so I know I can't go past this. I can't go past that. So not necessarily my profit target. You guys know me. I like to do trend following. And now that I have a little bit of a buffer, I could do a little bit more trend following. So here's the goal. The goal is as soon as it starts to break, just in case it's like a fake out breakdown or something like that, I want to do 25, 50. I could honestly even do it now. I could just, if I catch a fish, I catch a fish. Maybe that's the best way to do it because obviously this is now, I don't know, my 6th or 7th iteration of trying to grow these Apex accounts once again. And maybe if we're using the Socratic method here, the scientific method, it would be crazy to keep doing the same thing and try to magically get a different result. In trading, you could argue that maybe that will work because you never know the next environment. It's not like a perfectly repeatable game, but maybe I just need to be uber aggressive. Like the fact that I have a little bit of buffer now, I could treat it almost as a static drawdown and never really risk anything. I was ideally looking for a little bit more of a convincing breakdown. I kind of wanted it to snap 40 because people like to trade at this 50 rung. But if it snaps 40, I might just move my stop to break even and then just not care. It's a lotto ticket, like a complete lotto ticket. Come on. Maybe yes, no, maybe so. Matt, I am down 17% on the Magnificent 7. Should I just hold? I don't know. What's your trading plan? I have no idea your trading plan. I don't know your risk tolerance. I don't know your life situation. That's impossible to answer. So when you open an Apex account, how much do you deposit and put in to start? You don't deposit anything. It's their risk. You're just putting the money on your credit card. You're paying the bill to take the test. But from there, you don't deposit it. I should clarify, when you're trading things like Apex, your max risk is whatever bill you put on your credit card. If you blow the accounts out, yes or no, it's not like you're risking that money. So I want to be very, very clear here. When you trade sim to funded, something like Apex or Take Profit or Vanquish, your risk at max is just what you put on your credit card. If you blow your accounts out, it's not like you're taking on more risk or anything. All right. And on that note, I put my stop at break even. I have a lotto ticket. That's when I do these types of things, that's when you know Matt's doing the right thing that day, is when I aggressively move my stop to break even. Maybe I make money, maybe I don't, but the point is it doesn't matter. I'm fishing. There's a reason why they call me the best trader on this side of the Mississippi, because day in and day out, your boy's he's catfishing on the Mississippi. That's what I'm doing. Sometimes I catch stuff, sometimes I don't. But what I'm doing right here is I moved my stop to break even. Worst case scenario is nothing. The equivalent of this is your boy was ripping some darts. I ran out of them. I'm walking to my local 7-Eleven to buy a new one. When I'm there, I got a lottery ticket. And better yet, the lottery ticket was free. So I think that metaphor, I think that story is really going to hold, and I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people. But imagine you're tired of your family. You need a breather. So you're like, I'll run to the grocery store. And this is all during like your Easter day dinner. Your wife is there and she's like, oh, we're out of ketchup. And you're like, all right, I'm going to go get ketchup. And you're like, finally, you get to escape your mother-in-law, your grandparents. You finally get a breather. And as you were going there, you're like, okay, grocery store, I need gas. So you go to the gas station and you walk in and some guy's like, you want a lottery ticket? That's what happened right here. It's a free lottery ticket. This, in the worst case scenario, it comes back up, knocks me out for break even, and that's it. I didn't make any money. I didn't lose any money. And that's going to happen a lot. Roughly, it depends on what's going on. If I'm trading well, I'm going to be stopped out about half the time. About half my trades are going to be, oh shit, it came back and it got me. And if that's something that doesn't work with you psychologically, okay, it happens. It happens. And if that's not your psychology, if you're like, no, I just like can't handle it. Okay, maybe you need a different trading style. If you see me trading, I'm not saying it's good or bad. Sometimes I'm on a hot streak. Sometimes I'm not. The way I trade is not necessarily the way everyone in this world should trade. But what I am letting you know is exactly how I do it and where I've found success. So if you like it, if it resonates with you, dude, have at it. I hope you make a shitload of money. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And it happens. So right here, this was a very systematic setup. I obviously manually executed it, but for me, I'm literally following my bot over here, telling me to be in, telling me to get out. Where I got in, I was about 5 points late, which in this environment, I'm going to take that. And the major thing that like I took a little bit of a risk, like I said, I should have been in a little bit closer to 80, but whatever, I'm in at 72. And the fact that it started to break down, cool, stop to break even. And we're going to see. Currently, I'm up about 20K. Oh shit, this account's trading again. Hang on. What account is that? This is what happened to me on Thursday. 931. 931. 931. 931. 931. 931. 931. Okay. So that one I had to change just because of the rules of take profit versus Apex. But on all these other ones, I'm still doing what I'm doing. These other ones are just trend following. While that one individual account, just because take profit has a 50% consistency rule when you're trading eval. So I have to trade it a little bit differently than trend following, because when you have a 50% consistency rule and you're going for 3K in profit, there's no mathematical reason for you to go more than 1,500, which I just locked in, 1,525 locked in, bada bing, bada boom. So right there on the take profit accounts, 200, 200, 200, 200, 1,000 plus another 1,500. So as of right now, I've already locked in 2.5K, but it looks like I have about another 30K unrealized running. And the max I can make there is another 3, which is this number all the way down here. So if I had my own funded account, like all 100% my own, I would just let it ride as long as I possibly can. I wouldn't put a 3K ceiling on myself. In this circumstance, I put a 3K ceiling on myself because Apex has a 30% consistency rule. So no one individual day can count for more than 30% of your total profit. So for me, I'm attempting to build out a buffer to 10K. Well, 30% of 10K is 3K, which is why I do it. Once again, those are all personal decisions. I am not saying that that's like a hard rule from the company that you have to put on yourself, but I'm just sharing my reasoning is I'm looking to grow my account from 50 to 60K. That is a 10K buffer. So for me to be able to take out money at 10K, I have to ensure that I didn't break any of those rules. And one of the rules is the 30% consistency. So obviously 30% of 10K is 3K, which is why no individual day for me at this point, given the current state of these accounts, can exceed 3K. That is the 30% rule is a rule applied to everyone. What I am basing my 30% off of is a self-imposed rule because of where I think the numbers work. So some of, I guess what I'm saying is literally a hard and fast rule. And then other aspects of it are just like where I think it's a bit reasonable. And I might be moving this down to, I'm moving my stop down. I'm sorry if I'm looking over here. It's just, this is where my bot is telling me to move my stop. 35. Okay. So no matter what, I'm making $800, $750. $750 times 20, 14K. No matter what, your boy's now making 14K. No matter what, and let's get in. Boom shakalaka. Not only has he risen, but so has the Tendy Man. Let's make today a good day. Let's just rip it in the market. Let's see if we are blessed by the market gods making a little bit of money. And remember, the market's much more afraid of you than you are of it. It's kind of like a snake. It's kind of like a bear cub, if you will. You just got to pretend you're not scared. Every single time you engage in the market, you got to put on a little bit of bravado and be like, hey, man, this is normal for me. This is normal. Like, you got to... For those of you who have seen other guys, you got to hit the market with bad cop, bad cop. That's the only way to be successful in this game. I'm telling you, it's much more of that psychology of bad cop, day in and day out shit. It just came back in on the 2 standard deviation right here. I've recently, this is most of the studying I've been doing lately when I do some statistical breakdowns. When you start to close, like, see here, we puked. This golden line is the 2 standard deviation VWAP. A lot of my recent stat work has been what happens when you push and you ride down. What happens when you first close back in? The data that I've been finding suggests that in the short term, there's actually a pretty sizable pop. So that's why I just got a little bit nervous there, because if it started to go, I was going to take my profits early. Piper's always hiding my stuff on me. She's always hiding my stuff. Oh, market gods, I am nothing but your humble servant. Please allow me to exercise the degeneracy in the way you deem reasonable, favorable, accurate, articulate, another fancy word that I didn't study for the SATs. Whatever it is, just let me know, but allow me to make some tendies. It's all vibes. If you're not trading on vibes, what are you trading on in all reality? If you're not trading on vibes, what are you doing? All right, I'm moving my stop down. So no matter what, making 50 points, that's $1,000. So no matter what, I'm making 20K. So the question is, am I making 20K or am I making 60K? That's the situation I have myself in. Slowly but surely, I'm just moving my stop. I'm moving my stop and I'm following price. And on a reversion, I might get knocked out. It happens. If that's something that's going to mess with your head, maybe this isn't a trading style for you. For me, it works because I don't like to be in those positions where you're up a lot and then it has this like insane bounce, and then all of a sudden you're break even or worse in the red after you were already massively in the green. That messes with my psychology personally a lot more than just like, oh, you get wicked out and it goes in your favor anyway. Any day that's a green day, I'm going to count as a good day. I really am. So for me, yeah, I'm just following this stop time and time again. I'm either making 1K per account. I obviously am trading 20 accounts, so that's 20K, 1 times 20. Or down here, it'll be 3K per account, which is 60K. So no matter what, my day is going to be a good day. This is a good way to start off a week. You're either making somewhere between 20 and 60K. Obviously, I'm hopeful. I am very hopeful for all the way down here. I would love the 60K. And if I wanted to, I could keep aggressively moving it if I wanted. I'm getting a little bit freaked out because once again, we are just dancing around on that 2 standard deviation line. We are right here. We're dancing around. If it starts to pop, the pop can be vicious. So I might move it even more. Is that the right move? Am I feeling lucky? How lucky am I feeling right here? All right, here's a look at the options flow, which is pretty weak. The S&P 500 just hit a delta low. The Mag 7 just hit a delta low. We did snap 200. We actually didn't even put up a fight, which really tells me we have a shot of coming all the way down to 5,150. This is the next thing. So obviously, we opened up in between 2 key open interest levels, 5,250, 5,200. We puked. We settled there for a little bit. We're now starting to puke. Maybe you can see it better on the 1 minute. And at this point, we're kind of awkwardly settling at 5,180. If we don't quickly bounce back up to 5,200, I'm telling you, looking at the levels here, we can literally just see where the big money's positioned. That's the beauty. That is definitely the beauty of the options market. 5,150 here. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Okay, we're getting caught up in a bit of a positive gamma node. That's why we stopped right here, a bit of a positive gamma node. That's that purple. So the red is negative gamma. Remember, purple is more of sticky price action, while red is more of the slippery price action, not necessarily bullish or bearish. But the next thing I see is 5,150. If we don't catch ourselves right here, we are running into a little bit of positive gamma that must have been created since the market opened. It was not there before market opened. So kind of just watching this low right here, 5,180. While I'm simultaneously watching what is happening. Come on. Yeah, we kind of puked until 10:02, and now it's a little bit indecisive. How about the SPY? The SPY tracks SPX. So SPX is the real index, while SPY is an ETF created to track SPX. Trade whatever you want, SPY versus SPX. But in terms of your important levels, your support, your resistance, I highly recommend you watch SPX over SPY, just because SPX is the real index. It's a lot more liquid. That's what the big money people are trading. So there's certain times where like the SPY runs into like a random support or resistance. You're like, that doesn't make sense. Like, it's not seemingly a random value. And then you look at SPX and you realize, oh, it's like a perfect level, like 6,000 or 5,000. So like I said, trade what you want, but please understand, big money traders are not trading SPY. They are trading SPX. How much money did you withdraw from so far from Apex? Year to date, $200,000. Year to date, from January 1st, 2025 to April 21st, 2025, $200,000. Shoot, where was the next positive gamma node? 5,180. Yeah, it looked like on the 0 DTE, or no, on the full chain we're getting some. It's not there on the 0 DTE. It's a little bit there. Yeah, somewhere right here. Look at this purple, 5,180, 5,175. If that starts to snap, the next thing is 5,150. So we have a little bit of a node going on right here, a little bit of like that sticky price action. But here, if I zoom out, you can see that if we snap that, then is my head blocking this? I think this is important. I want to share it with all of you, top right. So we're right here where this cursor is. A little bit of positive action here, and we're also at the spot gamma implied one-day move low. So yeah, maybe it does bounce. But if we break this, the 5,150, then there's another negative node all the way down to sub 5,100. So maybe a better way to explain it is this is a sticky area right here. This secondary white box. Obviously, this one up here is the transition zone for GEX and DEX. But right here, we have a bit of a positive gamma, which you could argue is a secondary transition zone, and seemingly we're running into it right now. But then if this snaps, there's really not much like in the way of protecting the market all the way down to like 5,070. Like, in the event that this snaps 5,150, like if that snaps and goes, yeah, there might be a technical reaction here at 5,150. There might be a psychological reaction at 5,100. But from an options perspective, there's really not much stopping it all till we get all the way down here. So this zone, I don't know. Obviously, this zone's important, but I would argue this one is as well, between 5,180 and 5,150. And the 180, the 175, those are new as of today's like active trading. Yeah, and I'm kind of referring to this little positive node right here, which I don't know. I'm biased. I want it to break down because I have a lot of bearish positions on right now. I showed you what I'm doing here. So I want it to go down, but my point is no one knows. All I can tell you is all I can tell you is we've been pushed into a positive node. What does it mean when you're in a positive node? It means that market makers are going from being supportive of current trend to being opposite. So when you're in negative gamma, if you're going up, the market makers help it higher. If you're going down, the market makers help it lower. They trade with trend in negative gamma. In positive gamma, market makers hedge their books, i.e. do their trading in the opposite direction. So basically, we sold down to we went from negative to positive gamma. Once you get in positive gamma, the market makers, to hedge out their book, have to do the opposite thing. So that's exactly why we sold until the gamma switch, because now market makers were no longer naturally supportive of that movement. So in this 30-point zone between 5,180 and 50, whatever way we move, the market makers are going to be taking the opposite side. If we drop, they'll buy. If we pop, they're going to sell. It's sticky price action. But if we snap 5,150, once again, to hedge out their books because of current options positioning, if we start to sell, they're going to be supportive of that move. And if we break it, they're going to start selling as well, which is why you see those periods of like very quick price expansion and then the consolidation. That expansion happens through the negative zone while the consolidation happens in the positive zone, which is literally like it's almost picture perfect of how it's working out today, because we sold pretty aggressively. I'm actually surprised how much less. I'm surprised at the lack of the fight, 5,200 put up, but whatever. And then we sold, and look at that. Then we got caught right on top of, surprise, surprise, this positive gamma. So we sliced through the negative gamma and got stopped at the positive gamma. I say this a million times, but I need to reiterate because that's important. Positive and negative gamma are not bullish or bearish. It just tells you about how market makers are most likely going to react, as in balancing out their books. Are they supportive of movement, or are they going to be kind of curtailing movement? Or do you have slippery price action or sticky price action? And right now, as you can see, we got right into a sticky price action area, not only on the full chain, which is this map, but even on the 0 DTE. A little slippery at 85, but right here, this purple, remember, that's that positive gamma. And this is all with respect to the S&P 500. You could look up this same information on spot gamma. They have it on everything. So if you want to know what we're doing right here, but instead of SPX, if you want to know it on, I don't know, it seems like a lot of you were asking about Palantir. You can see exactly where there's high positive gamma. You can see where there's negative gamma. You can look at it on the Mag 7, like that breakdown. It's a slightly different view of the map, but it's just a game of where's high gamma, where's low gamma. And then from there, it's probably useful to pair it up with delta and whatnot, but these are all just like the option Greeks. Anyway, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bearish for price momentum. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bearish for price momentum on both the S&P 500 and on the NASDAQ. So just reviewing momentum, looking at options flow. Let's go back to the hero tool. Hang on, let me open this up a little bit. S&P 500 got a little bit of a pop, but pretty much we're at the delta low of the day. More specifically, we're seeing the call and the put delta drop. It's on both sides. Looking at the Mag 7, same thing. Mag 7 had some weird pop at 948. That's exactly when I went short, was on this breakdown. That pop related seemingly to Nvidia and Apple. And anyway, we sold. And then right here, when we're running into positive gamma, surprise, surprise, we got a bit of a pop. And now we're just kind of going sideways as the market is trying to say what's going on, because really, market makers are no longer the directional player, so it's going to be reliant on other traders like you, me, institutions, hedge funds, blah, 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 to decide is this the bottom or not. And from there, we're just kind of waiting. Yeah, we're sitting right on top of this positive gamma node. So it's just patience. When it comes to these carriers, I don't really hear enough retail educators talking about it. When we come to key areas, that doesn't mean bullish or bearish. That just means pay attention. So this key area, it means pay attention. I'm not saying we're going to break down or bounce. You have a 50-50 chance. Maybe we bounce, maybe we break. All I'm saying is when we're in the in-between zones, it doesn't matter. What matters is when you're at the key areas. Day in and day out, all I do, my entire process is what are the key areas, and can I get an idea of that daily bias, of that daily trend, to play from one key area to another key area. If we're not at a key area, I just don't care. It's just, you're literally just like in no man's land. So right here, this is going to be a sticky area. If we bounce out of it, okay, 5,200. If you're looking for a bullish play, which I would personally not recommend, but I'm not your mom, that's what I'd be looking for from here all the way up. When we're in here, I would understand that we're in positive gamma. It's going to be sticky. And I would also understand that if we break 5,150, we go from a sticky surface to a slippery surface, and then we could really speed up and potentially see sub 5,100. And ooh, I got real close. Come on. Bring it home. Come on. Your boys got to pay for all these lozenges. Let's go. Market gods, I am on your side. I am a devout disciple of the market god Tendy man. Bring me to the promised land. Bring me to Valhalla. Let's do it. Let's stop teasing me. Stop teasing me. It's edging. Oh, there we go. He does it again. Magic Matt strikes again. Who does it like this? Who What's that? The Conor McGregor meme? 60 G's, baby. We did. All right. So 60K there. About 2,500 there. So a nice 60K a day. A nice 60K a day. Oh, obviously, if you're curious about Apex and all that stuff, they are running a fat deal right now, 80% off here. I'll make sure it's pinned up to the top of chat. I personally use the 50K account. So if you use a 50K account the way I do, which is arguably the most popular one, here, I'm pinning it up just so you guys can get it. To take the test right now, it's like $33, $34. So right here, I mean, I use, what is it? I haven't used wealth charts. That's new. I use the Rhythmic data source. The Rhythmic data source, 50K, 167, 80% off of that means you're only going to pay like $34. So to take the test, it's $34. And when I say take the test, just to be very clear here, to pass the test, you have to make $3,000 in profit without suffering a 2.5K drawdown. So if you can make 3K in profit without having a 2.5K unrealized drawdown, then congrats, you pass the test and you go from an eval account to a PA account. PA stands for performance account. And when you're trading on a performance account, that's when, if you trade well and follow all their rules, that's where you can get that money. So if you're signing up, never pay the full price. If you use that code Goonie, you're going to get the best discount that is currently available. Do not forget to put in that coupon. I'm trying to save you $130 here. I'm trying to save you 80% here. Never pay that full price. Just put in that code Goonie and you're going to be able to get 80% off and you can pass the test in one day. Different sim to funded have different rules. They're not all the same. I obviously highly recommend you utilize and take advantage of the one that is best for you financially and your trading style and that type of stuff, because they're all very similar, but the nuanced rules do make all the difference. All right, and we're starting to get cracked here. We're starting to get cracked. We are having a rough day, Tonto. Like I said, we are now in a positive gamma node, which basically just means wait and see which way we shoot out of this. Because if we recapture 5,180, very real chance of an intraday bounce up to 5,200. If we puke out of the bottom side of it, 5,150, I'd be watching the low from Thursday, April the 10th. This is the day after the historic gain. This was right where we almost had a circuit breaker halt to the downside. Once again, I'm looking at that low from Thursday, April the 10th. That's all the way down here at 5,150. So, 5,115, which would be my target past 5,150. And then if we don't hold there, like I said, we were just looking at the positive and negative gamma, and it looks like the next real support is, look at that. I mean, this is actually 5,060, but the gamma influence is going to increase here. So roughly, it's roughly in this zone, 5,070, like plus or minus, I don't know, 10-ish points roughly, maybe something like that. But somewhere in this zone would be very much my reach target on the day. But that's kind of not even in question until we see how we react to this node. We are in that positive gamma node right now. So we just got to wait. We got to have patience. Obviously, we could check some other things to get an idea of flow. Is it supportive? Is it not? The Mag 7 options flow has gone flat. Not bearish, but also not bullish, while the SPY just got clocked and we're still just going flat. So like I said, everyone in the Discord knows this. Between Thursday and to today, like the last trading session and a half, this environment, you're either bearish or you're doing nothing. If you are taking any bullish positions, if you've taken bullish positions today, you really have to ask yourself, like, what is your trading strategy? Is it pure hopium, or are you actually basing it off of some sort of statistical reasoning? Because right now, price momentum is down. We can see that we're below all the EMAs on both the S&P 500 and on the NASDAQ. Options flow is down, and then price structure is down. So if you took a bullish position today, like, beyond just praying that it would work, like, what was your actual reasoning? Like, what was the math? What were you seeing in the market that really supported that play? And I would argue that there's nothing going on. No, I have not seen a single thing. The Qs are a cent away from a bear market. Golly. Are we almost back in a bear market? All right, all-time high to right now. Yep, you are 100% right. Excuse me. I don't know what the fuck's going on with my throat. We are down 19.9%, a little bit more, and we would officially be back in a bear market on the NASDAQ. For those of you curious about that same level, we actually have to break that Wednesday low. The bear market is closer to right about there, 4,918. So we would have to break that Wednesday low to be in the bear market on the overall market. But we are literally flirting with it right now in real time on the NASDAQ. You guys are about to watch us. I want to zoom in. Oh shit. I wanted to find like the exact level. We're so incredibly close. Basically 17,780 on NDX. We're like pretty much right there, like a legit bear market, which we were there a couple days ago. Then we bounced out of it, but we are going right back into that bear market. We snapped 18,000 and haven't really looked back. That's brutal. That is some brutal stuff. How is everything else looking? MicroStrategy green. Bitcoin is looking good. Look at Bitcoin breaking trend with the market as of this morning. So digital gold acting like real gold. Speaking of real gold, yes, another new all-time high. So both gold and digital gold looking really good. And that's why we're seeing Bitcoin-related equities such as MicroStrategy and Coin actually putting in green days when everything else is vomiting. Tesla getting murked, breaking down, not looking so good. Nvidia, same situation. Palantir holding its own. Meta, not looking so good. Broadcom, not looking so good. Netflix holding on, had really good earnings. Apple, even though it had all those calls come in, putting in a red day. Microsoft, same thing. Trying to hold on, trying to not break down, but it is nonetheless a red day. ASML getting clocked. Amazon getting clocked. DJT trying to hold on, kind of crypto related now. Qualcomm red, but really not doing the most. Google not looking good. Texas Roadhouse, it should be illegal if this thing ever has a red day. Bonds, gap down on bonds. That's not so good. You have oil popping up, but maybe potentially turning here soon. You have vol obviously spiking. We might have put in a higher low on vol. Look for it to break out above 35. That's where things will get a little bit saucy. All right. Oh, this shit wants to go, dude. This wants to go. Tesla has their earnings tomorrow after market close. Jesus. I haven't looked at my swing plays yet today. I have not looked at my swing plays. All right, they're looking decent, up about 40K. Here's my public account. Up about 40K. I have NDX puts and SPX puts, so that's a nice gain. Up about 54% on NDX and up about 52% on SPX, but I'll take that, especially because on my other account, I'm up another 22. So 22 plus 16, 17. So up, my swing plays are up about 50K. So 50K on swing plays, 60K on my futures plays. Good day. It's a good day. Now I'm just kind of awkwardly waiting to see how we break this positive gamma node. Are market makers, well, really it's not even market makers. It's more of the other participants. Are they going to break us out or break us down? And until then, I kind of just sit. I'm just going to sit and wait. Patience, folks. You don't want to rush anything too crazy. All right. So as we're waiting to see which way we do break this, is there any questions? Do you guys have any questions on public? Do you have any questions on Apex? Do you have any questions on positive, negative gamma, on flow? Have I said anything that's confusing? Do you guys need extra clarification? Have I said something that spurred another thought that you like the answer to? What hair products do I use? How often I cry in the shower? What are you guys looking for? What signals would you wait for before buying the dip with regard to long holds, just VIX stabilizing, or is there more signals For buying the dip now, I would wait for positive news from the trade war. Trump is live right now. Is that true? Is that true? Trump is live right now. Is it on the White House? Trump live. It looks like they are doing an Easter egg hunt. Something. I don't know if this is about the market. It looks like it's an Easter egg hunt. I don't know if this is necessarily going to be market related. I'll leave it up just in case. We'll come back to it, check in on it. Maybe he's going to take questions from reporters. I'm not 100% sure. How often do you cry in the shower per trading week? Oh, that's a good question. I try to get in at least 3 to 5 cries per day, and a trading week is 5 days. So anywhere from 15 to 25, I would say on average. I would say that the volatility of that, the average true range of how much I've been crying in the shower has been increasing ever since the start of April. How much you tip your barber? 20%. Flow on SPY, probably not good. Stabilizing a little bit, but it's literally stabilizing at the low of the day. Is public just options, or can you trade futures? You can't trade futures there, but they do have crypto and bonds and equity. So everything but futures. Matt, do you normally scream and shout while crying? No, it's like one of those like where you're so emotional that you actually start making no noise is probably like my main crying strategy, I would say. Like where you're like where you're like barely catching your breath and like there's not much like audible noise coming out. Matt, do you take vitamins? I do. I try to take zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D. In the shower, is it a cry or a crank? It's definitely a cry. But if the week is going crazy, sometimes both, you know. What happened to your DJN trade to lose on Thursday? I went up at most like 20K per account and I had 5. So I was up 100 grand, which I had to give it back. So then I wrote a program that traded a lot and I just stacked up the commissions until I got back down to 1.5K. What do you use for your live news source? I use many accounts on X and just turn my notifications on. I never complain about holidays. Make them holy with your own actions. The Easter Bunny brought me a golf ball, left it on my front yard. What kind of mattress do you recommend? I'm in the market. Shoot, what is mine? I did one of those delivery ones and I actually really like it. It's either Tufton Needle or the one that starts with an L. But I did one of those, like, it comes in a box and it's like vacuum sealed. I actually really enjoy it. Are there any option trading prop firms? Yes, Vanquish. It's in the description of the video. Can you explain how the multiple Apex accounts work? What do you mean? You're allowed to have up to 20. And if you have a trade copier, you can copy your trades, all of them, but you don't have to. You could trade up to 20 accounts completely independently if you want. If you're like, hey, I want to test strategy A on this account, but B on this account, you're allowed to do it. But for me, I use one strategy and I copy that trade to all accounts. How many trades did it take? 5K trades for 80K commissions. It took a shitload, but I was also trading 6 contracts at a time, so it wasn't as bad. But the code I wrote did it every single tick. So because there was a lot of ticks, it took me only a couple minutes, but there were physically a lot of trades executed. What do I think of Oxy? I think it's interesting that it like might be one of Warren Buffett's like worst trades at the point. Like, that guy keeps buying. Like, I just feel like he must know something we don't, because the guy like nonstop buying, and yet Oxy keeps getting beat the fuck up. So that one confuses me. Like, cost wise, do they discount the reset, or is it an add-on? I don't know what you mean. You would to trade 20 accounts, you would have to buy 20 tests, pass 20 tests, and then upgrade from 20 evals to 20 PAs. Financially, they're all independent. Are you trading on the trading view? What is in front of you? Nope. I use this for charting. I do think Trading View has the best charting in the game. Hey, why don't you let Skynet run anymore? I use Skynet, but I manually execute the trades because I only want to do 1 or 2 trades a day. So Skynet fires a lot more often. So I'm basically using a variant of Skynet. I updated it. And then I like manually execute it. Like this morning when I was looking over at it, I was like, oh, go short. I took the short trade, and then I manually updated the stop level. Did Skynet die? No. It's just in a coma. I'm genuinely curious how much the losing streak cost. I know it's low compared to payouts, but I'm curious about the numbers. Well, I don't know yet because the losing streak isn't over. But as of now, if I will run the number, somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000. What's the Apex option that allows you trading on mobile? Tradeovate. Is your bot made using Python? No, it's called NinjaScript, and it's basically C#. Basically, Ninja built stuff on top of C#, and it's internal to their program or to their platform, but it's effectively C#. I guess if you wanted to make it in Python, it'd be really easy to convert it because ChatGPT does understand NinjaScript. So you could say convert this to Python or vice versa. How to get TPT and Apex trading at the same time? In the connection. Wait, I just want to make sure it's not going to show my password. Configure. Yeah, so I have it. Hang on, let me just make sure that I'm not giving away my password. Okay, I'm not. I don't think I am, at least. Yeah, okay. So for Take Profit Trader, I connect it on the Ninja Trader option. And then for Apex, I connect it on the Rhythmic for Ninja. So I use Rhythmic for Ninja Trader for the Apex one. And then I use the actual straight up Ninja Trader one for Take Profit Trader. That's how I get both of those connected. Apex or Take Profit? I think it depends on the time. I don't think one is universally better. I think it is better. It depends at that point in time. So right now, Apex is running an 80% off deal. So your test is going to be like $33. Then the upgrade is like $120 or something. So you're in the whole $150, $160. If you go to Take Profit, their current deal is 30% off. Oh, hang on. Take Profit Trader. How do I Take Profit right here? Take Profit Trader's 30% off. But it's a one-time fee. So if you pass the test, you're already good, but you might not pass the test. So like the test itself is $120, but if you pass the test, then there's no upgrade fee. While on Apex, if you fail the test, well, then from there, it's only another $35 to pass it. So like it kind of depends on the current deal. Like I said, I use them both. I mean, I was literally just showing you, like I have my 20 Apex, I have my 5 Take Profit. Like I use both. But if you were new right now and saying like, well, which one's better? There's no universal statement of like whatever. One of these is perpetually better. It's just not how it works because they're always running different deals. Do I use Bookmap at all? No, I find Bookmap is like, it's fine. I can't say it's not useful because it's basically a visualized way to look at the DOM, the depth of market, which is fine. Like, I don't know. I've never found it the most compelling because those are just sitting orders. They have nothing to do with market orders. The DOM never shows market orders because they're market orders. They're not sitting resting orders. So I don't know. I think you can find as many examples of it working perfectly and like giving you useful information as ones where like it didn't show you anything useful at all. Does Apex deal currencies? I don't even know what that means. Does it deal currencies? I assume this is like a broken English way of saying, can you trade currencies on it? Yes, you can trade the futures contract on currencies. This sideways BS is eating into my 0DT. You should never be long 0DTs. If you're playing 0DTs, you should only be selling 0DTs. Sell to open. You should never be long a 0DT call or put. I've never met a human in this, like in my decade plus of trading, I've never met a person who is net profitable in the long term by actively trading 0DTs in the long position, long calls, long puts. I've met many people who trade 0DTs, especially recently, that are selling premium. That's completely reasonable. But to be long premium, the odds are just not against you. They are just simply not for you. Thoughts on Bitcoin Ripple? Well, Bitcoin's good. Ripple's complete shit. XRP, I don't know how many people are like why are so many people getting tricked into XRP? I just don't get it. I truly don't get. There's so many susceptible people to some of the dumbest fucking ideas ever. And XRP is one of them. It is not decentralized. It can be diluted on a whim. It's the worst security. It's truly trash. And even the use case, we have a available product on the market, i.e. stablecoins, that are better at that use case than what XRP is allegedly used for, of currency swaps. Stablecoins are better at doing currency swaps. Why the fuck would we ever use them? And even if we did, okay, let's say stablecoins didn't matter. Let's say the fact that XRP could be diluted didn't matter. Let's say the fact that the lack of security doesn't matter. Let's say all that just doesn't matter. Like at all. Why would XRP as an investment go up if it's being used to swap? It's literally a middleman. Why would, remember, something gains in value when you look at the supply and demand. So if people are like, what is the demand if it's only being used for swaps? Like as in not sitting there. Like it is like literally it's just the OG shitcoin, and people just don't get it. You are dead wrong on XRP. I'm not. I'm very much not. I am one of the few people on this planet that can genuinely say in this craziness from pre-COVID to post-COVID that I've had the front row seat to tribalistic retail trading, and that is XRP. Like that is like, it is 100% XRP. So if you want to trade it, have at it. It has great range. It can move up a lot. It can move down a lot. If you are an active trader and if you're trading it on perp contracts, dude, have at it. I hope you make a shitload of money. But if you in any way think that it is a viable long-term investment that is going to be like reshaping currency transactions, you're fucking stupid. Absolutely stupid. Like, it's just so dumb. It is so, like, the only thing XRP has going for it is it has a large amount of stupid people paying attention to it. And even, it's the worst kind of stupid people, because it's stupid people who think that they're actually smart. And when you show these people compelling information that their ideology on the investment is in fact wrong, it causes them to dig their heels in more, which is, it's fascinating from a psychology standpoint, but it's also very sad. And we saw that with GameStop, we saw that with Doge, we saw that with Shiba, we saw that with AMC, is all of these people who conflated an active trade that was working and in their favor, and because it was working and in their favor, they had recency bias to believe that no, it has to keep going because it did work. And that's like that's as soon as like, you know, you got to get out, because this, for an unnamed reason, they believe that it just has to keep working. Like it has to keep working, and nothing has to keep working. There's no such thing as has to in the market. It just does not make sense. And then you dive into it more and you realize part of the ledger is missing. You realize that there's no proof of work. There's no proof of stake. It's basically they picked effectively business buddies to validate their chain, and they have no financial incentive to keep the chain accurate. Like, dude, it just breaks down so fucking quickly. So quickly. They just want a second Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, For people in XRP, they're mad that they missed out on Bitcoin. So they're like, well, if we get in a cheaper thing and this thing grows to be like Bitcoin, that was the same thing with AMC. AMC is only a thing because people missed out on GME. And look at how GME played out versus AMC. Both went up high, GME went higher. Both came down low, AMC went down lower and faster. It's this secondary copycat situation that is so insane to me, but that's what XRP is. It's people who are pissed off that they missed out on Bitcoin running. It's people who are pissed off that they missed out on Ethereum running. It's people who just missed out and they're like, no, it has to be the same thing. And what happens is when you have this giant community of people who are perpetually late and then they sit there, it's just fucking dipshits talking to each other about how good their investment is when in reality, most of them are down. But I don't want them to lose money. I want them to go up. Like, I hope they make money. I really do. But I hope they realize that what they're in is in a trade. I don't know how to make this more clear. It is a good active trade. I am not telling you if you are a day trader or a swing trader, you shouldn't be trading Ripple. I am talking exclusively from an investment standpoint. If you think Ripple is going to be better off 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now, you are fucking stupid. If you're actively trading it and you're like, no, man, this has great range. I trade it long. I trade it short. I'm like leveraging perp contract. Yeah, crush it, dude. Absolutely crush it. Sounds like SoFi? No, SoFi is a legitimate company that's going to be influenced by business dynamics. And in their case, particularly loans. It's in the finance sector. That's like, it's wildly different than XRP. Thankful for my defense, average is XRP is 0.45. Yeah, no, dude, it can move up. I'm in no way saying that Ripple can't move up and people can, like, it's so weird. Excuse me, I sound like a crazy person. Actually, this might be a good short opportunity because if it does puke, you can just risk this recent high. We just ran into a bit of a wall here. That is not a bad opportunity whatsoever. It could go up. Your average is 45. Cool. Set a break even, never lose money on it. Maybe it pops to $3, $4, $5. I want you to make money, but I'm just saying when it starts to go against you, just be honest when the trend's breaking down. That absolute fucking dipshit before that was talking about AMC. It's people who got hurt on it, myself included, were not being honest about it to themselves about the trend breaking down. So why is XRP bringing all these banks on board? What does it have to do, once again, with supply and demand? Because they're trying to get them to use currency conversions, but once again, why would they use them where there's a better product? And even if they do exclusively use them for currency conversions, why would that make XRP more valuable? Dude, these people who drink the Kool-Aid, they're so fucking stupid, and it's so infuriating because they don't realize that they're just being absurdly pig-headed. Like, what a dumb fucking argument. Oh, XRP is being used by banks, or might be. It's being considered used by banks. So thus price. Why would price go higher? Why? What in the world would drive price higher if banks use it for currency conversions? We already know that the supply side is fucked up because it could be diluted by a for-profit business at any moment. But in terms of the demand size, it is literally a conversion. They don't sit in it. And that is the one thing this absolutely fucking retarded community just cannot seem to wrap their head around is if it is used in what they're explaining as the main use case, no one is sitting on their XRP. Look at basic supply and demand. Like, forget about the fact that it is centralized. Forget about the fact that the company running it, they're all pieces of shit. The ledger's lost. There's no security. Forget about all that. Let's pretend that was all great or just didn't matter. The use case that they're pitching Ripple for, currency conversion, if it is used for that, and even if it's the optimal solution for it, why would that increase the price of Ripple? It's literally currency conversion. It's so fucking dumb. It's like, there's whatever. There are people who are going to get it because they understand basic business influences. And then there's many fucking dumb people who are going to get into it and they're going to lose money and they're going to bitch and moan and cry and be like, oh, the dark pools, the market makers, the hedge funds, the politicians, they're all against me. No one's against you. You're just too fucking stupid to realize that you're lighting money on fire. And that's what we saw with AMC and GME has a legit argument about the buy button being taken away on Robinhood. Like, I'll give them that. But this idea of like, dark pools are what screwed me over. Like, dude, grow the fuck up. Like, grow up. It's not. Like, there's such a lack of accountability when people make poor financial decisions. How do you feel when people who compare Bitcoin to gold and XRP to silver? I would say, wow, surprise, surprise. There's more dumb fucking people in this world than I thought. That's the beautiful thing about the markets is some of this is subjective of like opinions of why things do or don't move. But at the end of the day, the markets are the scoreboard. Your P&L is the scoreboard. So as much as you have people from the XRP or the AMC community with their tribe screaming they're right, okay, show me the chart, show me your accounts. Like you can have your opinions out the fucking wazoo, but are you making money? That's actually the coolest thing about any discussion related to the market is some parts of it are going to be subjective, opinionated, and you're like, oh, I think this influenced that. I'm like, whatever, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. But at the end of the day, markets are either going up, down, or sideways, and you either played it the appropriate way or you didn't. You're either making money or you're losing money. Your account's either going up or going down. The market's, like I said, going up, down, or sideways. Either your prediction and your interpretation of it is right, which is perfectly reflected, or it's not. Which, I mean, AMC is the most egregious one where there's still people screaming from the high heavens that they're right, and yet can you believe we live in a day and age where people say that this is bullish? They're like, yeah, no, it's coming back. Here, maybe I might even need to go to the weekly view so you guys can better appreciate this. Like, how are we saying that these people aren't retarded? By definition, like the medical definition of just not enough brain power. Like your mental state does not function properly. You do not interpret reality around you appropriately. There are people who are arguing this is bullish. Like, how do you possibly have a conversation with someone like that? Like, yeah, looks crazy fucking bullish. Like, what? I'll at least give it to the Ripple community that there is some excitement to it. Now, unfortunately, I do think it's going to end the way of AMC, where at some point in time, you have this pop and then it dances around, then it gets crushed and never like recovers. But at least the Ripple community could point to the fact that like at least it popped. And yeah, there's some business dealings between the administration and the Ripple, like as a business. So yeah, maybe that gives it a shot. Like I do think it ends down here. So like they have some leg to stand on and be like, hey man, I got in, it popped, cool. All right, whatever. But I feel like I've met people who are brain dead that I can still have a better conversation with than anyone who's like, dude, this fucking thing's coming back. It's coming. It's coming back. Let's not, like, even in the shortest time frame, it's trading at $2.71. Like, this is so horrifically fucking bad. I just don't get it. Like, as you grow up throughout life, I think as I'm becoming an adult, as I am an adult, the thing that day in and day out, week in and week out, year in and year out is that I'm just always perpetually perplexed by is the fact that there is truly no bound to how stupid people can be. Like at a certain point, you think that stupidity has a limit. And I think the only thing outpacing infinity is collectively humans' ability to be stupid. Like I think infinity is a large, expansive number that goes on, but we know we have different infinities. And I think the infinity that is the max infinity is people's stupidity. What is the options flow looking like? Not good, Tonto. SPY had a bit of recovery between 1033 and 1041, then got smashed. Looking at the Mag 7, really just has never recovered. We puked until 1010, and since then, a little bit of recovery, but giving back. Like there's no constructive flow coming in. Lottery tickets for both AMC and XRP. Dude, I actually think you would have better odds. Maybe not on XRP, but on AMC, I think you actually would literally, like mathematically have better odds on a real lottery ticket. Like truly. Not a lottery ticket that you're somehow constructing with like calls or something. I mean, I think if we sat down and truly modeled it out, like in just in the game of odds, I think you would actually have a better chance of winning money on a real lottery ticket than you would be creating a bullish position on AMC. Like truly. I can't say that about XRP. Price is still up. You never know if there's going to be a random announcement from Trump or something like that, or DJT that pumps it. So that's not so fair there. But on AMC, without a doubt. VIX coming down a little bit, if that means anything. I mean, still up 14%. It kind of just means that we have an orderly sell-off going on. Would you say stupidity goes to infinity and beyond? Yeah, it's just full Buzz Lightyear mode. Full Buzz Lightyear. Oh, hell yeah. All right, we're cooking. 42.5 and 25. Like I said, check out Public. They are today's partner. Pinned to the top of chat in the description. Free to download, free to sign up. No commission fees, no per contract fees. It's the only brokerage that you get a rebate to trade. So check them out. Like I said, it's free. And then here on Apex, if you want to take a test and trade the way I do, where I made 60K here, to get 80% off, use that code Goonie. Generically, if I've ever talking about something like, oh, that's a cool piece of software, I wonder if Matt has a discount and there's a coupon code, always just try Goonie, because that's the one that I tell all these businesses to make my coupon code. So even if you're like, I don't know if he does use it or not, you might as well give it a whirl. GOONIE will generically, for all the major pieces of software I use, will be getting you that discount. Matt, I'm stumped. Should I use my money as toilet paper or put it into AMC? Probably toilet paper, but I don't even know if that's sanitary. It'd probably be better to light it on fire. I don't know if all the germs and shit would be good to be using it as toilet paper. Like that might have adverse health effects that I'm unaware of. Also, my password, Goonie. Well, it's actually Goonie $69 if you're trying to use it. And it's generally, I capitalize like both of the O's. So it's like lowercase g, capital O, NIE, $69. That's the one I use for like whatever, my bank accounts and like my like tax shit that I just did. Any tips on passing Vanquish evals? Yeah. Fucking rip it and pray that the market gods will bless you. Matt, for Apex and take profit consistency rules, do you trade every day or like 3 or 4 days a week? I probably should trade less because the statistical chance of you having a good signal every single day of the week is low. I probably should be trading 3 to 4, but I end up trading every single day that the market's open because it's part of my job. Why are the markets crashing? Buyers and sellers are choosing to engage at a lower price than previous. So like before, buyers and sellers were willing to transact up here, and now they're willing to transact here, which is lower than before. So we're going down. And have we? We're still in this range. The fact that this was a fake out breakout by definition is bearish. We tried to get going and the market sucked it right back in. By definition, the fact that we couldn't get going there is not a good sign. That was actually a great trade at 1043 to go short or express a bearish position because you could have risked that recent high, so minimal risk, and you're already up quite a bit. Can you sell premium on Vanquish? Yes, you can. You have to do it in kind of a weird way. You have to do the long leg first, then the short leg, but yeah, you can. What's your beef with GameStop? I don't really have much. Why are you ignoring the GameStop comments? Penny, are you slow? We've been talking about GameStop. People are fucking crazy. Penny, have you do you have like a selective hearing? We've been talking about GameStop. Hey Matt, this password didn't work. What gives? Because it's not at. You're using G at. It's just capital O, lowercase g and lowercase NIE, but the O's are capital. So it's like lowercase g, capital O, lowercase NIE. Why tariffs are bringing prices down? Can't you see that? Oh, not exactly how it works. But hey, whatever you want to believe, you're right. You're totally right. Does Apex have a mobile version? Well, Apex is just the sim-to-funding company. I think you're talking about the brokerage. And yeah, if you do the trade of 8-1, you're going to be able to go on mobile. You live in New York. You should know people are crazy, dude. People are crazy everywhere. Matt, you missed my dono. My apologies. Why is it not popping up? I'm scrolling. Do we have a tech issue over here? Matt, tell GayTube Adam Aaron is laughing at the AMC people that keep putting money into it while he eats popcorn naked on those shareholder calls, laughing at them. I think it's interesting of like how much he has to defend himself right now. Like that guy's just getting eviscerated, and rightfully so. Hey, folks, look who's making a surprise appearance at the end of the show. This is the head trader at the corporation. You want to say anything? You want to say anything? Everyone, you want to wish them a happy Easter? Anything. Why does she seem sad? Oh, this cat. Something else. All right, so to conclude this show, I do need to share one story with you guys. And it'll be worth it. So if you're a person who's here just for the market stuff, you might want to stay for this story. So anyway, there it was. Speeding out of the 5-borough area on Thursday, and I was driving my wife's car because I had to bring it to a local mechanic where my family is to get it inspected because it's time for inspection. So I put all my stuff, including my cat and all of her stuff, in the car, drove, ended up in Pennsylvania. And it just so happens that the mechanic I use is also neighbors with my mother's business. So I parked at my mother's business. She left an extra car for me, and I moved all my stuff, including the cat, into the car. And when I moved her into the car, she was not happy. She was not happy in the slightest. She was under the chair and she was pissed off that I took her. She looked at me, and it's kind of one of those things like, she's like, if I was double the size, I would kill you right now. So I was like, I'm super sorry, but we're going to go home and you're going to be able to hang out in a house and run around outside. It's going to be great. Trust me, you're going to love Easter. So I move all this stuff over to the secondary car, bring my wife's car to the mechanic and drop off the keys and do all that good jazz. And I come back and I am 100% certain. The way I say there's no guarantees in the market, I would guarantee you I shut all the doors to said car. And I did shut them. So I get in there, all the doors shut, and generally before I leave, especially knowing if my sweet baby angel's in the vehicle, I should check where she is. And generally she goes under the driver's seat. So I reach under the seat, not there. I was like, oh, that's weird. So I reach a little bit farther. It gets a little awkward, but still don't feel her. I was like, that's really strange. So I get out of the car so I can physically look under the seat, and I do not see my little princess. So I was like, oh, maybe she's confused on the car. Maybe she went over to the other seat. Walk over to the other side, look under the passenger seat, and there's nothing there. I was like, well, this is not good. And I should have clarified for this story. It's a van, and there's no seats in the back of the van. It's just a big open area. So I look and I'm like, okay, dude, where is this cat? The only thing in this car is 2 seats and a giant opening, and I'm not seeing this cat. I was like, that's not good. So then I go back to the driver's seat, look under it as if she would apparate or something, and not there. Go back over to the passenger seat. The only thing I could look in this van is under the 2 seats. What? So I look there, and then I go back to the driver's seat, then the passenger, then the driver, then the passenger. And I feel like I'm losing my mind. So it's to the point where even though I know I shut the car, you start to question your own sanity. I call my mom and it's like, Mom, can you please check the security camera to make sure that the second I shut the door, she didn't somehow dart out or something. And I was like, this is insane. So she's like, okay, I'll check it out. So she's loading up this security footage and all this. And I'm like, okay, the only other thing in this car is under the, I guess, the dashboard. So on the passenger side where you have the glove box, I reach up under the glove box and not there. And then right to the left is the console. And there's this weird opening that a cat could theoretically fit into. So I'm kind of reaching into the internals of the console, and the cat is not there. So I was like, this is fucking nuts. I feel like I'm going crazy. The only other volume in this car I could not check was on the driver's side. So once again, this is a van, and they do have those big dashboards. Isn't that right? This little gremlin, my little princess, was driving me fucking nuts. Above the gas and the brake, kind of up the shaft for the driving wheel, she had shimmied up that. She was sitting behind the AC unit, where the air blows out at you. Physically, she was on the back side of that, underneath. I lost my mind. Dude, she was like in all that wiring and everything. I was like, how the hell could you have possibly gotten there? Dude, I literally was looking for her for 20 to 30 minutes, questioning my sanity, knowing the car was shut, and I could not find a living being this size, 12 pounds, could not find her for many, many minutes in it was I didn't know you could go up the backside of a steering wheel. It was crazy. And then, of course, when I got home, you can't get her out. So I just had to leave the door open. I put like food at the base, and like maybe a couple minutes later, she came out and then eventually came into the house. But this little gremlin, man, she, it didn't take her 3 days, but it felt as if she rose from the dead. And it was like, dude, you start to run all these scenarios. You're like, dude, do I have to call my wife and tell her like I lost my cat? Like you start to run all these crazy, crazy situations where you're like, I don't know. Like, and then it hit me that like people have probably done that with their kids. They're like, dude, I don't know where our kid is. And you have to like call it. And then I would actually argue that this is more important when it happened with my cat, my sweet baby angel here. But I was like, I have to call my wife and explain how I lost a cat in a car. Like that's the most, like she was going to divorce me on just pure stupidity, like something that makes sense. Like imagine being in a car, knowing the animal's there, a door's never opened, and then yet you have to call your wife and say, yeah, it's somewhere in the car, but I don't know where our living animal is. She is something. She's a squiggly one. She's kind of like water. She's like half solid, half water, like that type of a vibe. She kind of just does whatever. She's really malleable, you know? You just kind of do this type of stuff with her. But anyway, the market's breaking down, in case you guys missed it. Like I said, these are my key levels. Here, let me give you guys these levels before I leave on the day. We're in a positive gamma node. If 5,150 snaps, watch 5,115. That is low from Thursday of last week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry. And then from there, 5,100, yep. But really, the positive gamma that I'm particularly looking for, if I can find it. Sorry, I'm just clicking around. Let's see if it's shifted at all. No, there's a clear positive gamma node at 5,050. That is this guy right here. So pay attention to that. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend you pay attention to that. It also looks like there's quite a few long puts, so just be careful of people taking their profits at 5,100. So also want to call that out to all of you. But any hoozles, that's what I have for you. My voice is completely fried. My apologies for that. We're going to be posting an update video later on today. So check that out. It'll be around 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we're going to be streaming once again tomorrow morning. Specialty shout out for Public for being today's stream partner. If you are an option trader or an aspiring option trader, that is the brokerage you should be like 100%. You should be on that one. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. That's what I have for you now. Best of luck. I hope you make a shitload of money. I appreciate all the good vibes. I appreciate you guys stopping by. And we're going to see you in the update video and then also tomorrow's show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you all. Peace.